From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One ball, corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? It is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Coming up on today's show, rule changes. We'll relive the question from Renegade Express about which team we wanted to see win a national championship and some other odds and ends. Wake Up Warchant is presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, Tallahassee, Florida. CPTallybar.com is the website. You can always hit that QR code on your screen as well. Take you right over to CPTallybar.com. Monday's lunch special, which you should go over and check out, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Only $8.99, and it comes with a side dish. Build your own burger, half-pound Black Angus, cooked the way you want it because you're king over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Comes with a side, again, curly fries, straight fries, onion rings, potato salad, broccoli, side salad, tater tots, or freshly cooked potato chips. Check that out over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. And then tomorrow, head on over for Trivia Night on Tuesdays. Always something awesome going on over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Warchant.com, the ultimate Seminole sports source. Subscribe, $29.99, full, premium access to the website. Ask questions to Michael Langston at all hours of the day and night about recruiting. He'll answer them. Hop on there, tag Ira on the Tribal Council. He'll answer your questions. Gene's cranking out stuff. Corey's cranking out stuff. Jeff, Tom, myself, Matt Lasser. It's the ultimate Seminole sports source for a reason. 5-star rating and review, please. Thumbs up here on YouTube. And we are also presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. 7 hours of energy, no sugar crash. How about the Vitamin Energy Mood Plus? Promotes a positive mood. Listen to all this stuff, Corey. Not only the 260 milligrams of natural caffeine that get you going, and there's no sugar, so there's no sugar crash, but doesn't this just put you in a good mood hearing that there's chamomile flower extract, lemon balm extract, passion flower extract, valerian root extract? How can you not be in a good mood with all those natural vitamins coursing through your veins? VitaminEnergy.com. Promo code is WarchantBOGO, B-O-G-O. Use that. Get one free. Buy anything on the website. Get an equal or lesser value product for absolutely free. Shout out to everybody who keeps ordering it, tagging us on social media and stuff, and commenting on the boards. We appreciate it. Use that promo code WarchantBOGO. Lets them know that you heard him here. Corey, how are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks for asking. I'm glad you had a long soliloquy there. As you were doing that, I got a call back from a restaurant that I've been trying to get in contact with literally all day, who's automated messaging, automated. When you call a restaurant, it says press 1 for hours of operation, press 3 to talk to a team member.
Yeah.
We don't call them employees anymore. They're team members.
Right.
Every time I hit any option, it just went, sorry, I don't recognize that request. Been doing it all day. The reason I've been calling this restaurant all day, folks, is Saturday I went and dined there, and I thought I left my debit card there. And it was, pretty worrisome when you don't know when your debit card is. So anyway, that was them calling me back as soon as you started the show to tell me that they, in fact, do not have my debit card. And do you know how I got in touch with them, Aslan? I thought this was pretty genius.
No.
I went on Open Table
Okay.
and made a reservation for right now, like literally as we're doing it. And in the special notes, I said, hey, I don't really want to eat, but – and then I explained my situation. I knew they would see it. Because what if I had an allergy to truffle oil or something?
Right.
They read the special notes. So in the special notes part of the reservation, I put, hey, call me back. I need to know if you have my card. So that's what just happened. And they don't have my card, which is not great. So that's not a great outcome, actually.
Yeah, it's not a happy
now the restaurant was an hour away from where I live.
I was going to say, I figured you swing by there. But look at you.
No.
Would you go into Buckhead, hang out with all the cool kids?
No, it was Brady's travel ball stuff in between. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, this is the first time this has happened. So Brady just joined a new travel ball team this year, and it turns out one of the dads, his name's Mike, is a listener to the show.
Nice.
And he took Brady to lunch after their game on Saturday, and Stephanie and I went to this place where I could, I guess, lose my debit card. And he told Brady, he's like, yeah, I fall asleep with your dad's voice in my ears.
Oh, I'm going one of these guys.
So,
again, yeah.
but still, he's a big he said he's been a member of Warchant since when Gene started it. Back
They
when it
all
was called,
say that. If I had a dime for every time I heard that, and I was inside Doak when the choke at Doak happened, I could retire by now.
He knew the name of it. Do you remember the name that it was?
FSU,
What was it?
FSUKnoles.com.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's what he said it was. So
all
he
right.
knew the actual name of
Mike's
it. So I
legit.
do believe him, and he's a good guy, really good guy. Paid for Brady's lunch and wouldn't even accept an offer. And I'm not gonna lie, Brady only had one hit this weekend, and they lost 2 out of 3 games. I told him I was going to tell everyone he went 3 for 5 with 3 homers, but I can't do that now because one of the listeners actually watches Brady play every game.
Oh, man, what a time to be alive.
I'm telling you.
All right, let's talk about some stuff going on in the world of sports that has to do with Florida State athletics. Let's maybe not go too specific to FSU, but the rule changes that we had talked about previously this calendar year here, Corey, finally, I guess, went through NCAA approval. So a lot of people upset. I am not upset. I love it because when you think about it, I think when you distill this down, I don't think it's really that big of a deal. 3-man rule changes that are going to – the aim, Corey, is to make these games go a little bit faster. No consecutive timeouts, which I don't really know how often that happens when it comes to icing. I mean, kickers get iced, but very rarely do we see coaches have two timeouts at the end of the half. No untimed down at the end of the first or third quarter, which, again, I don't know how often that happens on a Saturday. But whatever, that gets us into the commercial break, and we can just get it going a little sooner. But then the big one here, the biggie, is that the clock will no longer stop after a first down, except it still will inside of 2 minutes at the end of each half, which I think, people are talking about this is going to kind of take away from the heart and soul of college football. This is what made college football different, which it is, but I don't know who was like, I can't wait to watch the football on Saturday because I like when the clock stops. It's cool. And they give the guys carrying the chains a little time to catch their breath and trot down the field. This, I don't know. I hope it makes games faster. I'm all about games going by quicker, selfishly. I don't think it's going to ruin the soul of the sport. Are you concerned?
Well, look, there's different souls of the sport, right? Like some of those souls were ruined 40 years ago. Some might say the soul has been ruined here with NIL. Like there's different ways to get at the innocence and purity of, and I say those in quotes,
right,
of the college football we grew up with. I will say this, though. When Florida State was rolling in the 90s, I always thought it was cool that, they would have had 3 possessions in the first quarter. They maybe kicked a field goal, scored a touchdown, and maybe punted or fumbled or something. And you'd be like, okay, they're up. They've got 10 points. Well, there's still 4.5 minutes left to go in the first quarter. They're still on pace to score their 45 or 50 points and win the game. And I always remember watching the juxtaposition of watching football on Sunday and being like, golly, the Dolphins had 3 possessions in the first half, scored on all of them, but they're only up 17-10 because you only get so many. It just felt like I loved that college football would have 80 and 90 plays, and you would get 16 possessions instead of NFL when you get 8 or 9. So that to me is something you are losing a little bit, but I don't know. I don't know if you did the math, how many actual plays you're going to be losing from this, because I feel like the teams that want to go fast will still go fast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know that like Oregon, if they're going at breakneck speed, or TCU, like what changes?
No.
They're still snapping the ball. Like, okay, the clock stops, so the clock would stop. If we went and watched a TCU, I'm just saying that because TCU went fast, right? That was their thing.
Yeah.
If I would like to see how much time they saved by getting a first down on an 18-yard completion, and then the clock stopping for how long? 4 seconds, 6 seconds, until they restart. And it was always the thing that did bother me about it was it wasn't. It wasn't a hard, fast standard across all games. Like sometimes the referee would signal to go ahead with the clock really quickly. Other guys would really wait till the old guys had the things all set and were ready and gave them the signal. So it was like now it's a standard. You know what I mean? You don't the referee doesn't have as much impact on the flow of the game because it's just how the game flows. This is the rules of it. But so yeah, I would think though, if you're just talking about a team like TCU or a team like Clemson back when they were rolling and they would go fast, I don't know, man. I would think you're talking about an extra minute, 95 to 100 seconds throughout the course of a game. Like every first down, you got 4 or 5 seconds. and you got, 20 first downs in a game? 20, that's 2 minutes. That's 200 or whatever that is. Yeah, that's a minute and a half. That's not that big a deal, right? The teams that want to go fast will still go fast.
Absolutely, yeah. And the clock will still start, or rather stop, inside 2 minutes of the second quarter and the fourth quarter. So that sort of ability to move the ball down the field really, quite, I don't know, measured, if you will, because you got the clock stopping all the time. That's still there. That's still there for you. I do wonder, who this does favor, though. It'll be interesting to finally, I know the next time we catch up with Mike Norvell on some sort of off-season visit stop or whatever to kind of get his thoughts on it. Because, again, man, this is, coaches are kind of in the loop on some of this stuff. They can get their representatives to push back on this, and Division III is the only one that pushed back on this. So I just wonder if this will favor Florida State, or in some ways, I guess some of these. Do we need to rethink some of these numbers that people have been giving us on Renegade Express, Corey, about how many points Florida State's going to average next year? Or do you think does that affect your thoughts about them averaging, 40 this year, because now 2 quarters it's going to be a running clock practically?
Yeah, no, I would like to, again, though, when you ran out of bounds for a first down, the clock would stop, but only not until you ran the next play, right? I mean, if you ran out of bounds, The clock would stop, I guess. But if you complete a 17-yard pass over the middle of the field, the clock stops momentarily to get the chain set, and then they would keep the game clock going after that. So you're really talking about 5 or 6 seconds here or there, right? Unless I'm misreading, unless I'm not thinking correctly about it. So, no, I don't think – I think what I wonder about, what will be interesting is comparing it to, the pace of play last year. We'll see we'll know a month in how big a deal it is. It's hard to really know right now. I guess I could go back and watch games, full games, and, count on a stopwatch. Okay, that was 6 seconds before they restarted the clock. That was another 7 seconds before they restarted the clock. And just add it up and see how much time, actual game time, was saved. And maybe it comes out to being 7 or 8 minutes total. And so, okay, well, that's substantial. That's half a quarter. That's at least a possession for each team, maybe 2. So that is substantial. But I think we'll know more about it at the end of September, all Major League Baseball fans now know all the rules that were put in place this offseason. There is actual evidence of how much the game has changed. And that, okay, all games are down by 35 minutes a game. Game time has been sliced with the pitch clock and the throw-over rules and all that. And you got to pitch to at least 3 batters. All that stuff has made that game quicker. We'll know probably by week 1, right? It might even not take till the end of September. Week 1 or week 2, we'll have a very good handle on, okay, is Florida State getting 1 less possession a game, 2.5 less possessions a game, or the exact same amount of possessions a game? But I just don't know that it's going to be a huge difference. I just don't know. I don't know how big a role it will play.
Well, as long as we're getting out of there 30 minutes earlier, that's all I can hope for. I mean, I don't know how much the average time of a baseball game has been shaved off by about a half hour, so that's probably being a little too ambitious. Then I guess some people might say, what's the point then? If you're only going to shave 12 minutes off of a game, what's the point of changing this rule? To which I would then say, it's only been, then why even have that rule? It's only cost you 12 minutes of hanging out in the stadium with your friends. So why can't we all just enjoy a little bit 12 minutes of not having to be on the clock, everybody?
Yeah, I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do. I don't know what you can do with football. This is an idea, but I still think the teams that go fast are going to go fast. Incompletion still stop the clock. Touchdown still stop the clock. Change of possession still stops the clock. So It's not like I don't know that it's a drastic change. But I could be wrong. We'll see. I don't foresee it being a drastic change. Then again, I just pointed out to start the show, I remember being so watching Florida State and being so stunned at how quick NFL games moved in comparison. We're golly, they practice 90 hours a week to go out there and run half the number of plays that the college students do. It didn't kind of make sense. It seems like the NFL is the one that should stop the clock after a first down. They should get more plays because they practice more and it's their livelihoods. But it's never been like that. So what do I know?
Let me see here. Florida State ran 904 plays last year by my rough math here on this. when you're on the NCAA website and you sort it by a different number, a different stat than what the actual page is intended for, it doesn't. I don't even know how to explain it. It doesn't like reorganize it the correct way you want. But I think that's 46th in the country. They had 904 plays. The number one
in 13
team,
games.
Yes.
So that's 69.5 plays per game.
There you go. Number one in the country was Texas Tech. They ran 1,094.
In how many games? Probably the same,
13,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So that is 84.2 points. So they ran 13 more plays a game than Florida State. Now, imagine that offense last year for Florida State getting 13 extra plays. I mean, that's probably worth, I'm going to guess, 5 or 6 points. It's a pretty big deal.
Depends. They might have just been run off the clock against Georgia Tech and Louisiana.
I just think,
Syracuse.
but on the whole,
yeah,
when you have a good offense, the more you're on the field, the better chances you have to score. So maybe 5 or 6 is too much, but they would have averaged at least a couple more points per game. Now, the question is, this year, do they hold steady at 69.5? Or are they closer to 60? If you're only running 60 plays a game, what happens here is the teams that aren't as good as you, it levels the field. The less time you have to go defend Jordan Travis, the less plays you have to defend Jordan Travis and Johnny Wilson and Trey Benson, the better chances you have at success.
Well, also less amount of times you have to have your defense on the field as well. So, I think it kind of.
Yeah, I think look, man, the good teams are still going to be good.
Yeah, listen, Clemson ran more plays than Florida. I'm trying to look at the teams that Florida State's going to play this coming season. Clemson, LSU, those are the only teams that I can think off the top of my head looking at this list really quick that Florida State is scheduled to play this year that ran more plays than FSU did last year. So, Wake ran more plays, but they're not playing Wake this year, right? We don't got Wake, right? No Wake this year.
No, they do have Wake.
Do we have Wake?
They're up in Winston-Salem, son.
Oh, all right. Well, then I had Wake to the list. 3. So.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, moving along here then. Corey, we did the roundtable discussions. Offense and defense. Offense has already hit the presses, the stands. Hopefully your folks have read all that. Shout out to whoever it was on Warchant's Travel Council that actually did a Photoshop of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, and they had all of us talking to each other.
Oh, that's nice.
Wasn't historically accurate, though, because somebody was saying, King Corey doth said, iron sharpens iron. But obviously they wouldn't have known that back then because you coined it in the late 90s.
I coined it it was like 2011, I think, or 2012. Okay. Yeah, no, it was only 10 or 11 years ago. I wish I was that smart back in the 90s.
Yeah, appreciate. Oh, we appreciate that sentiment, though.
Thank you.
So, I don't know, offensively, I think we were all on the same page in terms of like the spring, whether it changed our opinion of this team. Were there concerns for you, Corey, as you sat around, maybe heard some of the other opinions from the guys on the panel? I was just kind of looking at what LSU did. Maybe we'll pivot and talk about LSU for a little bit, but I figured we need to talk a little bit about us. I'll figure out some other questions to ask you the rest of this week to get some shows there, but figured we'd plug the round table on the offense and the defense.
Concerns? No, and I said as much. I'm not concerned that this offense is going to be good. I think it's going to be very good. I'm not going to even couch it. Just know that if injuries happen, don't hold me to this. If this team stays relatively healthy on the offensive side of the ball, particularly at quarterback, it's going to be a good offense and one of the best in the country. One concern I did have, though, wasn't so much of what I saw, is just what I didn't see, which is Micah Pittman. And I don't know that we saw enough to think that you're just going to withstand that kind of loss if he's not available. He is a difference maker. He is not a dynamic. He's not Peter Warrick, but he is a very important part of this offense and of special teams. And I didn't see anybody necessarily that I was like, yep, they're not going to miss a beat. I think that could be – I just think the fact that all of a sudden you went from a very experienced wide receiver core with guys that have done it in big games and done it a lot with Johnny Wilson and Micah Pittman to Johnny Wilson and who?
Right. And Pokey last year. I know we weren't expecting to come back, but you did have Pokey last year.
No, that's what I'm saying, but he's gone. So you lost out of your 3 leading receivers. We didn't see 2 of them in the spring. Kentron had a good spring. He can be Pokey Wilson. Probably, I think. He could put up that same kind of production. I don't know that he's the deep threat that Pokey was, but he could put up that same kind of production. But I didn't see anything out of Micah Pittman, and I didn't see enough out of Winston Wright to just absolutely assuage any concerns I might have about the wide receiver core. But that being said, I don't have very much. I think by August, this receiver core, however it's shaped, will be good. certainly good enough to get open with Jordan Travis throwing them the ball. They have one special guy, and they maybe another one develops, but even still, they have one more special guy than most teams do.
Yeah, my only, quote, concern, talking about on the podcast, I've made this unit out to almost be bulletproof, right? Like I tongue-in-cheek was, I can't even see them going 3 plays without popping off like a 15-yard,
right?
Gain. Is that, listen, teams lose. It's going to probably happen. Florida State probably not going to run the table. So people are like, well, what happened, Aslan? You said this team was always just going to go crazy and not, be stopped. And it's like, man, the only way this team is going to be stopped is the same way that you see elite teams in the NFL, or I think maybe even less so in college. I mean, when I look at this team right now, and this is a horrible comparison probably, but I think of like 2007 New England. Like what made them lose? They finally went up against a team that could just rush 4 guys. They could harass Tom Brady, and everything wasn't easy anymore. Like when everything is on time and on schedule for this offense, that offensive line holds up, Jordan absolutely knows where to go with the ball. He absolutely knows how to go through his progressions, and when it's not there, he knows how to run and make something happen. Now, listen, man, now maybe some team might go crazy. Like, it's not going to be so much like really good coverage, but if some team can figure out a way to run 4 guys and pressure using only 4 and get to Jordan, and, get a hand on him, slow him down, gang tackle, rally to him, that could be a recipe to see Florida State lose a game. But I feel so good about this offensive line. And you look on the schedule, and that's the thing. Like, you have to also factor in the schedule, I think, when anything you talk about this team having a concern. Like, the only real, Florida, I might get burned overlooking them right now. But, man, it's like Clemson and LSU. Like, Clemson on their best day, LSU on their best day might be able to best Florida State's offensive line. Like consistently enough and make Jordan's life miserable. On their best day and on Florida State's C-D day, not the good D-Day. Or was that really good D-Day?
At the end it was. Eventually it turned into a great D-Day. But it was not fun for the people that were involved.
Right. That's the only kind of situation. So, like, when you sit here and you take stock of that, it's like, man, that's everybody. Like that's every elite offense out there. Caleb Williams, they're going through the same stuff. So like there's nothing unique about Florida State's concerns, if you will, which is a great place to be.
Yeah, I think I agree 100%. And there are going to be days where the line gets not dominated, but there will be defensive lines that play well against Florida State's offensive line. That will happen. And the offensive line will have to answer and play well and make adjustments and play big boy football. But there will be some teams that I think will absolutely say we're taking away the run. Now, everybody tried it last year. Not many were capable. Oklahoma was kind of capable. And Florida was not, but Jordan ran all over them, and then Benson had a couple big ones late. But that's what I wonder about, is if you have a defense that's capable of at least slowing down your running game, and making you have to beat man-to-man, one-on-one. We know the one guy can do it. Who's the others? That's if I had a concern, and I do think these guys are talented. I liked what I saw, especially from Portier. I've always liked what I've seen from Williamson when he's upright. I've always liked that guy, but it's when he's upright. And then I like Micah, but we don't know what his deal is. And hopefully Winston is ready to play when August rolls around, and you have some freshmen too. But what if Johnny Wilson had sprained his ankle in the first quarter against Oklahoma?
Yeah, I mean, what if Brock Bowers sprained his ankle? I mean, listen, Jamison Williams blew his knee.
They would have won, but Brock, they would have beat TCU.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically, if Jamison Williams doesn't get hurt in the national title game against Georgia, Alabama probably wins in 2021. But I understand your point. I'm sorry, I don't mean to derail it.
No, that's my and I get it. Like, not when you can't recover from special guys getting hurt.
Yes.
But who's the guy that steps up that they can go to on 3rd and 8? Do they have a guy that they can count on? That's other than 14. Nobody has really proven that yet. But also, Kentron's going to his 4th year, and this is a prove it year. And again, I think. I've got a lot of stock in him, and I'm putting a lot of import on how good he is this year, because I think Kentron Portier is going to be very important to this football team. How about that? That's his new nickname. He's in Portier, because you got to have a guy opposite of Johnny, in case they're triple teaming that dude, or if Johnny just gets banged up or is whatever. You can't play every rep. So you want somebody that you can count on to go make big plays other than 14, because wouldn't you say, Aslan, that out of all those receivers, everyone that's on the roster that's active that we saw this spring, the only person we've ever seen make a big play in a game, a big play, other than Johnny Wilson, is Ja'Kai Douglas. Like, Portier had four touchdown catches. I'm sure one or two of them were big. I'm not trying to say they weren't. He had a couple of nice moments, but Ja'Kai's the only one that's made big plays for this offense. And that's you've got to extend that. And this will be Portier's time to do it. Williamson hasn't done it. Micah Pittman wasn't around. Winston Wright hasn't done it. None of the freshmen have done it. So that might be just, if you're looking for one little concern, it might just be behind Johnny Wilson.
He had one catch for 25 yards against Clemson for a touchdown, 3 for 37 against Florida with a touchdown. But yeah, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He only caught a pass in 7 of the games last year. So,
yeah.
Portier. So, well said. This makes me think, though, I think it was Coach Thompson who mentioned it when we spoke to him the other week about, just asking him about how complete this offense is and the success they had and what they kind of project to this year. And he mentioned that, so many teams they play, and this is to your Oklahoma point, like so many teams played them a certain way until they got up to Oklahoma. Like Oklahoma was the team that was like, all right, we are not going to let you just run the ball on us. Not the other teams like, all right, we'll give it to you, but just maybe they did not put the amount of resources into their game planning and their execution of slowing down Florida's run game. Look what happened with Trey Benson, right? Trey Benson we thought was going to be, skipping and hopping his way to a 1,000-yard season and ends up getting shy of that goal. And the way the Florida State looked for like the first half. And then Chris Hom's like, well, then the whole thing is we can adjust. That's why Jordan ends up throwing for 400 yards in that game because, we were able to adjust. We have the weapons. We've got the quarterback to be able to do all this sort of stuff. So, if Johnny goes out, maybe that opens up that's another kind of chess piece though. It's like, all right, so teams can be like, all right, we're going to take away Florida State's run game. All right, well, too bad. He's going to throw the ball all over the freaking field the way he did against Oklahoma. All right, we're going to, we'll double team Johnny. We'll take away Johnny. We'll take away Johnny Wilson. We'll take away the run game. And that you're having to put a lot into stopping these things. That's going to open up stuff. So, like, I don't know if Kentron has to be dynamic and special. I don't know if Ja'Kai has to be dynamic and special or Winston Wright to be dynamic and special. If you're going to be that concerned about 14 and that concerned about stopping this run game, man, something's going to open up that these guys are capable of it. So we're in a great place, everybody.
And also,
all this to say there's no concerns.
And don't forget about what the tight end position should give you this year. Yep, that's a whole different animal that you didn't even get to really exploit last year. And you've got one of the better ones, at least certainly one of the more skilled guys in the country to throw to this year. So, yeah, man, it's just trying to find one. Honestly, I'm not really concerned. It's just if I was going to say I had to have one, it would be that.
We'll talk defense in a second, but first, I want to head over to mybookie.ag. MLB season full swing, NBA playoffs going well for some, not as well for others. Don't want to talk about it. Probably defer to Corey on some of these picks. But when you do go to mybookie.ag, use that promo code WARCHANT. That gets you an instant cash deposit bonus. So if you were to deposit, say, $200, you would actually have $300 available to make a bet. Make your bet, win it. Pull the money back into your pocket. Piece of cake, right? All right. Give me some insight on my Lakers taking on the Grizz. Lakers giving out 4.5 at home against Memphis.
I mean, I think aren't the Lakers up 3-1?
No, it's 2-1. That was game 3
2-1
on the other night.
Yeah, I think the Lakers are probably going to win this one going away.
Oh, okay. I like that.
They're not going to get a better shot from the Grizzlies than Morant scoring whatever he did, 24 in a row. And they still lost by double digits. So I think the Grizzlies, it's been a weird year. I think they're ready. Like Morant, just that whole Morant saga, and it's still kind of ongoing, and they show his dad after every bucket. I think they're ready to, like, let's call this a day, and let's reorganize and regroup this offseason because we've got to fix something here. Something's we've got to – and they also miss the big guy from New Zealand.
Steven Adams.
Yeah, that's a big loss, dude. That's a huge loss in any series, but especially a playoff series. So, I like the Lakers to win pretty handily and kind of take control of the series.
If Giannis is back, give out the 5.5 on the road to the Heat. But if
I
he's
love
not,
the NBA playoffs. Aren't the NBA playoffs the best? All these NBA analysts hand-wring for 75 days, not 75 games. 7 months.
Yeah,
but like 7 months about the season and what it means and who's got a chance. And then Giannis gets hurt. Yeah. Kawhi gets hurt. It's like, well, this is awesome. This is fun. This is a good Tyler Hero breaks his wrist.
Hand.
Sorry, but it's like what is this? Like it happens every year. It's just not. It's whoever stays healthy. Like the Celtics probably have the best chance of winning the whole thing. But God willing, Tatum breaks his foot.
Whoa!
And is out for the rest of the season.
Oh boy, mybookie.ag. They want everybody to be healthy and to go over the website and use the promo code WARCHANT. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Pivoting to the defense, which I don't think we've published it yet on the board, or the website rather, which is warchant.com. You all should be there. So this will perhaps whet the appetite. One of the questions that we kicked around, Corey, was how many of the newcomers do you see making a major impact this fall defensively? I've got one. I think you jumped me on that one. How wrong am I? I got Daryl Jackson's the only guy I can say with like certainty. I feel good about Braden Fisk. I would just imagine, unless Notre Dame was on him, Southern Cal was on him, NFL was a possibility for him, but he ends up getting injured. Speak of the Devil Last Red segment there. But the fact that he's got that pedigree, he had that sort of interest, he was that coveted, and we saw him go through some individual stuff towards the end of the spring. You're like, all right, man, this will work. This will be a piece. Major, okay, perhaps. I mean, you're in the too deep of what we think is going to possibly be a conference champion, maybe a playoff contender. But I can't say Fentrell Cypress has a better resume than him, but I didn't see enough out of Fentrell, and he had opportunities to be like, all right, man, I'm carving out a niche for myself. Gilbert Edmond, to me, I thought was kind of pedestrian, so I'm at 1 with Daryl Jackson. Where are you in terms of the amount of newcomers you can see making a major impact this fall?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely more than that. I definitely think Fisk is going to make one. Again, we didn't get to see him do a lot, but we saw the athleticism and the size. I can't imagine that's not going to be a big deal. It's why so many schools wanted him. I think Cypress will get it together and be a good cornerback just like he's been since he's been in the league. So I think, and then Daryl Jackson, of course, and Edmond. I mean, I don't know if he constitutes a major impact, but right now he's probably third on your team, your depth chart. He's going to rotate in with those other guys. So is that a major impact? I don't know, but it's an impact. So I think all those guys, I think literally everyone that came over so far, and again, the portal's open, I think that they're all going to make an impact. So I'll say 5, and maybe, probably not, but maybe one of the true freshmen.
That's already here, or one that's part of the cavalry that's coming?
Or Nicholson. At linebacker. I think he might have a chance if he's as good as they say. And again, it's going to be really hard. He could make an impact and he won't be a 3-down linebacker, but they might have certain packages where they like his athleticism and what he can give them. And he might come in on to be a blitzer on 3rd and 12. He might be something like that, or to have the athleticism to cover a running back in the flat on 3rd and 4. I don't know. I don't know what they might do with him, but I think they're going to there's a chance he could get on the field. Not as a full down, every down, going to play 70 snaps or whatever, 69.5 snaps linebacker, but I do think that he has a chance, and maybe our man Quindarius.
Yeah, Quindarius. I did mention him. I didn't mention him on the podcast, but I did mention him on the roundtable. Thank you for bringing that one up, Corey. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Major, I guess that's the operative word there. That's a very subjective term. So be on the lookout for part 2 of the roundtable series with all of us kicking the can around. All right, before we head out here.
People love that, right? People love the roundtable, I think.
Oh, yeah, it's great, man.
It's easy. It's an easy read.
Yeah, it's a podcast, except it's all transcribed out for you.
Yeah, exactly right.
Actually, I shouldn't say this before we go. We do need to talk about bat and ball stuff. But the podcast on Friday, shout out to whoever it was that asked the question about what football team would we want from Florida State in the yesteryear to have won a national title that did not. 96 was not a possibility. Some folks on here with 91 got a lot of 97 votes. My favorite answer, though, was not Steve Spurrier, which that's his name on Twitter. He said any team with Drew Weatherford at quarterback, which that hit a soft spot for me. I saw somebody also say last year, because that would have shown how awesome Mike Norvell is to have turned this thing around that quickly. To which, my counter was, I think the exercise, Corey, correct me if I'm wrong, was kind of like a team that, was in the discussion, like had an actual shot. Because if it wasn't that one, then I would have probably said, I don't know, like 2010 or 2009. Like
why not 2009?
Let Bobby go out on top. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, it's for teams that actually had a shot, and there were so many in the 90s, of course, that had a shot, and I guess you could say 12 and 14. Those are the only other realistic ones outside of the dynasty that had a shot to win it. So, 91. What did I go with? Did I go with 91?
I think I had you last minute audible to 87.
Oh, yeah, you did. You're right. Yeah, I mean, look, man, there's a lot of heartache. When you come that close to national titles for 14 years in a row and you only win 2 of them, that's 12 years of heartache, and there's a lot of heartache and a lot of really good teams that just got sometimes every now and again they get outplayed. Most of the time they were just unlucky, honestly. And maybe you say if you recruit a better kicker, it's not luck. It doesn't come down to it. But either way, there's a lot of good choices to choose from there.
Last football thing, 1.5 over under the amount of guys that put their name in the transfer portal this week from Florida State.
Over.
It's got to be, right? Like, come on.
I mean, I feel like the cavalry's got to come in that regard too. So we're at 5, right? It was all quiet it was too quiet.
I know.
This weekend. What's going on there, gang?
I'd figure like everybody went home this weekend, powwowed with mom and dad, aunt and uncle, grandma and grandpa, the whole family. Was like, all right, we're gonna see what else is out there. Wasn't the case. So I guess some folks hanging tight.
Well, maybe it's coming Monday morning.
Yeah, Black
Maybe
Monday.
it's all coming Monday morning. Yeah,
Black Monday.
They do have their exit interviews, right? Didn't Norvell say that?
I thought they'd already done some of them. I thought they were already doing some of them. I thought like after the spring game.
I thought he said that the week after the spring game, which was last week, was going to be position player exit interviews, and then the week after that he would do his own exit interviews with the players. So maybe
position coaches first?
But position coaches first, and then maybe he meets with all 80 players. I assume he does. I don't know.
Yeah.
But or maybe the players that need to be met with, he will meet. But yeah, I thought he said that the position coaches would do the exit interviews the week after the spring game, and then the following week is when he likes to do them.
What's the exit interview like with Jordan Travis? If you're Mike.
Hey,
Norvell?
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job. Appreciate you being back. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jordan. Thank you, dog. Thank you, man, for real.
Hey, Jordan, before you go. Thanks, man. Thanks.
Dude, have I told you how much I appreciate last year, Jordan? Have I?
Lonnie in softball doing big things.
Okay, going to start there. Nice, Aslan.
Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know. Do we want to go out on top? We should have probably ended with softball.
That's fine.
But I guess let's give them their flowers first. Another sweep of a ranked team, this time Virginia Tech. They were victors on Thursday 4-1, Friday 6-3, and then just absolutely went berserk on Saturday, run ruling the Hokies 16-7 in 5 innings. The 16 runs was like the most since 2020, maybe the most in conference. I think maybe in 2016 against Virginia they hung that many runs. They're in their stride. I'm not going to lie. They've done so well in these preseason tournaments in years past. They didn't really shine as bright maybe as years past, and then the little blip when they had to go to Oklahoma take on really good teams, the Lady Cowboys and the Sooners. But, man, they're playing some pretty good competition here in the ACC, and they are absolutely throttling them. So they're ramping up, like where they're going right now. Corey, anything stand out to you from this weekend? And I think we almost kind of buried the fact that, you had some trepidation about Devin Flaherty a few weeks back about possibly being hurt and missing some time, and she's been productive as ever. So that's always a good thing. Yeah,
no, and she was really good this weekend, and that's a good point. Like, because as you saw this weekend, if you guys watched any of that or read up on it, she was in the middle of everything. And yeah, we thought was it the last game of the Clemson series where it looked like she might have really hurt her shoulder? And then she was out there just fine against Virginia Tech, just leading off, stealing bases, slapping doubles, making every play in the field, just doing what she does. But it was a really good weekend for them. Again, kind of proving that they're good enough to do it again. They're good enough to get to Oklahoma City, obviously. I think it's, whatever they do in the regular season's awesome. But when you get to the point they're at now with this program, we all know it's late May and June. That's what matters. That's what matters to Florida State. You want to have your ducks in a row. You want to be healthy. You want to be playing well and feeling good. And I think you can't say that they're not. I mean, it's pretty remarkable what they've done this year, especially on the road. That's their second straight weekend sweep of a ranked team on the road.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Right, because they did it to Clemson too. Man.
I think Virginia was sandwiched between those two, so maybe it's not back-to-back weekends.
No, but on the road I was talking about, back-to-back road sweeps, which just isn't easy. Like it used to be easy. The ACC used to be a joke of a conference for the most part in softball. It's not anymore. It's good teams. Like Virginia Tech's good. That Virginia Tech team last year.
They're 22nd in the country.
And the one last year was really good. It almost beat Florida State in Tallahassee last year.
She cheated. The pitcher cheated.
Yeah, she couldn't keep her dang foot on the rubber. So Florida State was lucky to win 2 of those 3 games, or 1 of those 3. I don't remember. Maybe they almost got swept, but Virginia Tech was really good last year, and they're still good. And it's just always fun to see. And if you watched any of the highlights from that series, those Virginia Tech fans were fired up. I mean, you can roll your eyes. I know they're not playing Enter Sandman. It's not a football game, but they're fired up and they're into the game and they're tailgating. And it's a big series, one of the bigger series in Virginia Tech softball history, I would imagine, at home. And Florida State just rolls in and sweeps them. And the middle game, the second game, was the best one because they were down 3-2 in the last inning, and then just scored 4 runs, I think. Just doing what they do: get on base, get hits, advance, take extra bases, put pressure on the defense, and go touch home plate. And they did that a lot the last, 7 innings of that series. I think this last, because it was a run rule on Saturday, right?
Correct, yeah.
In 6 innings or 5 innings?
5.
So in their last 6 innings, they scored 20 runs against the top 25 softball team. Yeah, I mean, and again, they didn't do it with any. I don't know if they hit a home run. Well, Mac Leonard hit a home run. But that was the only home run they hit over that span, and they still scored 20 runs. That's cool, but that means you can score in a variety of ways. Not like the baseball team, maybe. Sorry, we had to go there.
They were able to salvage pride. I don't know if that's even salvaging pride, or they were just able to just save face. I don't know. They won Sunday 4-3. That was cool. They lost Saturday 4-3. So on aggregate in those 2 games, they tied Virginia Tech.
Right. That's how that works.
Yeah. Friday night. I don't know. I mean, is it a big deal? Is it not a big deal? I was there. My Friday night was spent at Dick Howser Stadium, Corey. Florida State jumps out to a 5-0 lead, 3 home runs in the first 3 innings, I think. And then the 4th inning, Raccoons are in the rafters, and all hell breaks loose. Virginia Tech gets 5 runs to tie the game up in the 4th inning, and then it just begins a precipitous, embarrassing, just painful night that ends with a 24-9 loss. The 24 runs tie the most runs surrendered in a game for Florida State. Thank gosh Brandon Walker came in and slammed the door shut to not get that 25th run across. But I don't know. I guess the fact that they were able to bounce
back. Does
that
count as a save? Does that count as a save to keep them from scoring 25?
Their pride was saved. I mean, the fact that they bounced back on Saturday and they hung tough and then they fought again on Sunday and pulled out a win. Is there any I mean, how do you measure a team that's so far down to the doldrums?
I mean, what's the point? When you say does it matter, to what end?
Well, you're just hanging on that they don't, something like just
sure.
Can they just sneak into the ACC tournament?
No. Those are all done. That's done.
It's all over.
They don't need to be in the postseason. They need this thing to get over with as quickly as possible. So it's cool that they show, I guess you'd say, a little fight and play pretty well the last 2 games, win a 4-3 game and lose a 4-3 game. And they have, in this, what are they now? 2-20. What are they? 3-24 in their last 27. Whatever it is.
They're 14-25 overall.
Sure, but they were 11-3. So they were 11-3. Now they're 4. So they're 3-22 in their last 25 games. Out of those 22 losses, I would say half of them have been close. Probably could have gone. They probably had the lead late in half of them.
2-19 in their last 21.
Yeah. They just ended their 9-game losing streak, which I don't think was their longest losing streak of this losing stretch, which is just remarkable. So that's my point. It's like, what does it matter? Like, you're trying to build something that's great, but you're not. This is a complete, just write it off type of season. Like, don't even think about it anymore. That's kind of where my mind is. It's like you just want it to be over with and wash your hands of it. So when we talk about what does it mean to show some life or some fight, it's like, I don't know, man. They finally had a couple guys pitch well. But what about all the other ones that never do? Or all the other – I mean, you just gave up 24 in a game. Like, at least what I will say, maybe, Aslan, maybe, is what I will say is that's clearly rock bottom, right? Giving up 24 at home in the midst of a 9-game losing streak to not a good Virginia Tech team. Yeah. I mean, on national TV, by the way, ACC Network decided to air that one. So that's where for the whole world to see.
No other inventory, guys? No other inventory.
Yeah, exactly. You
night.
Couldn't switch to the spring game at the 6th inning. So you did come back from that, that's the lowest moment, probably, in my opinion, of Link Jarrett's career. Coming off losing 15-14, where your starting shortstop loses the game on the mound, and then the next game out, you get a 5-0 lead, and then give up 19 unanswered. Well, no, sorry, they were answered. 19 straight runs. Cut it to 19-4, 19-9, or whatever you did, and then give up 7 more. However that ended up happening. To get embarrassed like that, to give up 39 runs in 2 games, including the all-time record at home for 24 in the midst of your losing. That's Link's lowest point as a manager. That's Florida State. That, to me, is the lowest point of Florida State baseball history. It can't get lower than this. That was a joke. That was a punchline. People around the college baseball fans around the country, and there are a lot of them, know that Florida State's having a down year, but when they see a score like that, they laugh. Like, what? And everybody, literally, I was at the field with people that know what I do at Brady's travel ball game saying, what in the world? 24 runs? Brady said that. It's like, wait, they gave up 24 runs last night when he saw it on Instagram. Because I guess they did post that. Somebody did. So I think Florida State baseball posted the final score.
Didn't go our way. I love the unique way all these baseball accounts just like, we'll get them next time.
Get them tomorrow. Get them tomorrow. But so to come back from that, 39 runs in 2 games, an all-time abject joke of a run, just an awful, awful stretch, embarrassing, just straight up embarrassing and humiliating, to then lose 4-3 and win 4-3. Yeah. All right. Well, the wheels didn't
lose big,
fly off.
Lose big, lose small, win small.
Win small, win big, then win big.
Here we go.
So they're going to start winning games 24 tonight. So I guess you can take some solace in that, right? That they did pitch. They showed some competitive fire.
Corey, the headline for Sunday's game winner, or for the gamer, was bullpen powers Noles pass Hokies. Who'd have thunk 48 hours prior?
Absolutely, man. So hey, what does it mean? Jack squat. They're still awful. They're still the worst Florida State team in history. They don't need to be in the postseason. They need to get this thing over with. But it is nice that the 39 runs in 2 games was at least, that trend was at least whittled a little bit the last 2 games. And, Wyatt Crowell ain't coming back. This team ain't coming back. He needs to do a lot of retooling. There are guys on this staff that don't need to be pitching at Florida State, clearly, and some position players, too, that don't need to be here. There needs to be a reckoning.
An exodus.
An exodus. But, hey, man, they at least ended the 9-game losing streak.
Yeah.
What'd you say it was? 2-19 and
they lost 10 in between, the sandwich between a win over Clemson.
So they lost 10, won 1, and then lost 9.
Yes.
Right? They went 1-19 in a 20-game stretch. Yes. In Division I Power 5 college baseball, that is almost impossible.
It is.
It's almost impossible.
Crazy.
Maybe winning 1-4-3. Did you see it? I wasn't there. What was the celebration like? Did they do a dog pile?
No, I wasn't. Oh. Ira stepped up and fell on the sword for that one on Sunday. So.
Oh, okay. I don't know what the celebration would be like because everybody's like, well, how are we going to blow this one?
Yeah.
Only a 1-run lead in the ninth. But Doug Kirkland, who has certainly had his struggles, got the final 6 outs of that one to win the game, and then they get Stetson tomorrow.
It's
on
crazy.
Tuesday.
So they got Stetson, and they're going to Notre Dame this weekend, Corey.
Yeah.
Saturday's game is on ACC Network. Sunday's game is on ESPN2.
Oh, boy.
Lynx homecoming.
And the beauty is that, baseball games last a while. And there's could be a lot of time in between things that happen. So there might be a lot of talk about how awful Florida State is this year in Link's first year. So that'll be a nice 6-hour run of that for Saturday and Sunday. But hey, maybe they go out and play well. Maybe they find themselves.
I think so. I'm rooting for this season to go on. I want them to figure out a way to get to a regional. I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
But some things just mean, a little extra to some of us, Records are not meant to be broken. They're meant to keep alive. On the way out, though, shout out to the track team. Curtis Williams, personal best, got his first ever win at the LSU Alumni Invitational on Saturday. He leapt 7.87 meters. That's really far.
What's that in feet? Do we know? Can you do the math real quick?
I can do the math after I tell you also that Jeremiah Davis, he's a multiple All-American, set a PR, 16.78 meters in the triple jump. So the jumpers doing it.
Yeah. All right, that's pretty good. I
Yeah.
can hear you do it. I can hear you working. I'm going to guess.
Tapping on 25. Sorry.
I'm going to guess. Let me guess real quick. 25 feet, 8 inches.
Wow, my man.
We did it.
On the nose.
Okay. All right.
That's
Well, that's good.
insane, man.
Yeah, he jumps that's 8 yards. Just hand him the ball, and he's got you 2nd and 2.
Just hand the ball, he'll run, and then when he hits the line of scrimmage, he'll jump, and then it's 2nd and 2.
Yeah.
Move the chains.
And maybe he lands on his feet and keeps running. You don't know.
What if they...
Or he gets helicoptered and fumbles.
Why don't they... Why not do the whole you're down, in the NFL, you actually have to be down by contact. You have to be touched.
Right.
College, if they're going to make the clock still run, let's
get up.
Yeah.
Let them get up.
And
man. How's about, instead of feeling so sorry for college athletes because they're not NFL guys, how's about we make them get 2 feet down on catches now?
No, come on.
No, come on,
soul
man.
Soul the game, Corey. Let the guys make plays.
Soul the game. That's right.
Make plays.
Right.
Just
next thing you know, these quarterbacks will be getting paid millions of dollars to play college football.
All right, that's a wrap for us. But the Jeff Cameron Show coming up 1 to 3 o'clock. Will Seminole headlines be going down tomorrow 1 to 3 o'clock, Corey?
Of course, man. Of course.
Right.
I'll be remote, but we'll be doing it. We'll be banging it out.
All right, we'll do a show sometime this week as well, and we'll probably throw a Renegade Express thread up as well. People ask about this. I probably should say at the beginning of the show. Maybe I'll say at the beginning of the next show. You go to warchant.com, you go to the Tribal Council, and then on Tuesdays, maybe Wednesdays sometimes, there'll be a thread pinned to the top of it that says Renegade Express. You just go in that thread and you post a comment, and then that's how you get on the show. So that's how you do it, everybody. So do it. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.